What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 17th of April, 2022. Happy Easter to the people who do the Easter thing. If not, happy Sunday. I got a lot of news to share with you, a lot of stuff going on this week. As always, the first link below will take you over to the Patreon post. That's where you can find all of the madness. Let's start out in Shanghai. Looks like Shanghai residents clash with police over homes being used to isolate COVID patients. Some more of that coming up in the police statement. Back home in America, we got New York State Department Health announces emergence of recently identified highly contagious Omicron. Here we go, another subvariant coming around. Will it make its way across the United States? FDA approves the first COVID-19 breath test for emergency use. Put a link to that from the Hill. We got other stuff going on. To find out where the COVID pandemic is headed, look in the sewer. It's in the water. All this talk about snake venom and all this stuff. There's always been poisons in the water, people. You guys know that. Arrested. NYPD catches NYC subway mass shooting suspect. False flag in my opinion, but whatever, I'm not going to quibble. Judge declares jail for two men, declines jail for two men who impersonated DC federal agents. This, if you've been watching the Blacklist, this has the Blacklist all over it. I'm just saying, I'll put a link to this crazy story. Joe Biden news this week. Joe Biden is apparently a full professor at the University of Pennsylvania this week.
A lot of university campuses.
Let's see.
Matter of fact, for 4 years I was a full professor at the University of Pennsylvania.
He also, when he finished his speech, turned around and shook hands with a ghost while looking confused, trying to walk off the stage. I don't know. Maybe he's talking to somebody over there on that side. Maybe he said something to that side. I don't know. You look a bit confused, Joe. We got Lieutenant Governor arrested on bribery charges, resigns. What's up with that? And we got Gilbert Gottfried, iconic comedian, dies at 67 after a long illness. I'll always remember I couldn't have been 11 or 12 years old. Used to watch Gilbert Gottfried on USA up all night. Watch some good movies. Kind of movies that didn't really make you good in the movie theater, but they were still good movies in my opinion. I just remember that time in my life. Right on. How the major U.S. stock indexes fared on the Thursday, because Friday was the holiday. Everybody was closed. Over to financial news, by the way. Let's see. The Dow fell 113 points. Looks like for the week the Dow was down 269. Not too bad of a week for the markets. I'll put a link to recap data. Consumer prices rose 8.5% in March, slightly hotter than expected, and the highest since 1981. Shout out to Mouth. Federal government rakes in record $2.1 trillion in tax collections through March. The federal government's doing good. How about we spend some more of that money prosecuting the January 6ers by DOJ? Wants $34 more million to prosecute J6ers identified online as sedition hunters by sedition hunters. Okay, Biden infuriates environmentalists, oil refineries. I wish Firefox would stop telling me to update every couple days by allowing more ethanol in gas to lower prices. Although I've seen a story about how the gas stations that offer this lower methanol or the higher methanol stuff are only in like outlying areas, and this really doesn't do anything for anybody. Put a link to it anyway. With lithium prices ninefold up. Report underscores U.S. dependence on foreign minerals. Well, we'll bomb somebody to get some minerals. And by the way, Joe Biden wants everyone to buy an electric car, even though we can't make the lithium-ion batteries because we have a shortage of minerals. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen delivers remarks outlining the future of the international order. Need to decarbonize economies. And whatever does she mean? Tech company will implant payment chip into your hand. I bet that's part of her plan. Put a link to that. I got a couple more in the financial bin. Elon Musk makes $43 billion unsolicited bid to take Twitter private. And we got the LA gangs are taking things into their own hands. They're robbing the city's wealthiest. Thumbs up if you like the way I deliver the news. I know sometimes if the words get scrambled, I start slurring my speech. The news just makes me so excited. Anyway, over to police state news. Philadelphia returns to mandatory indoor mask mandate starting. Here we go again with more controls coming in. Emory University, where is this, down in Georgia somewhere? There's a college that's restricting internet access for students who refuse the booster. Bill Gates, you're crazy if you don't want to take the vaccine. It's kind of weird, all these crazy people talking about that. Okay, I'm going to put a link to that. And what's going on over in Shanghai? Take a look at this. I saw this tweet this week, and I thought to myself, this is why America will never give up its guns. They are pulling people, agents of the state coming in and pulling people out of their homes to take them away to COVID camp. You won't get away with this in America, and America will never give up its firearms. Biden tries to ban ghost guns this week. Oh, look at this, a plastic gun, no serial number. This can't be. Joe Biden nominates Obama Harvard Law School classmate to head the ATF. No shocker there. Court rules that police can inflict pain on detained individuals. Yep, from Yahoo News. Put a link to that. James O'Keefe reveals Biden FBI spied on Project Veritas via Apple and Google emails. I got news for you. They've been doing that for eons. You think they weren't doing it under Donald Trump? This shit never stopped. Doesn't matter who's president. The NSA and FBI. Look, if you're communicating electronically, you best be aware that someone else is reading that besides the recipient. Put a link to that. And I got a couple more here. First, Texas bus drops off migrants blocks from D.C. Capitol. Right on. Put a link to that. And Mexican truckers block key U.S. border crossing in protest of Texas governor's inspection mandate. It just kind of pisses me off when I see a story comes out this, oh my God, they were spying on us. They've always been spying on you. Over to World War III News, CIA director says it's unwise to discount possibility of Russia using nukes. We got nuke talk this week in the World War III, Ben. Russia's Broken Arrow fears nuclear missiles sank with the Russian ship that went down. 452 of 510 crew members drowned. Put a link to that. Pentagon asked top 8 U.S. arms makers to meet on Ukraine, and Russia warns U.S. unpredictable consequences amid latest arms shipment to Ukraine. Put a link to that. Biden announces additional $800 million in U.S. military aid to Ukraine. You don't mind another $800 million in taxpayer money going to whatever. Charge it up. Now, what's the U.S. debt clock up to these days? Put a link to it. U.S. conducted now this coming out of Russia. U.S. conducted inhumane lab experiments in Ukraine, says Russia. I actually believe Russia on this, no doubt. Spain outraged as massive U.S. nuclear-powered submarine arrives. Put a link to that from Express. China tears into condescending U.S. and warns it's going down a dangerous path after a group of Republican and Democratic senators make surprise trip to Taiwan. A couple more here. UN tells UK to stop matching Ukrainian women fleeing the invasion to single men following reports of sexual exploitation. And Sean Penn, I guess he's going to take up arms for real. He's going to go fight the Russians. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Looks like we only had 1 6 quake this week. I got it set up for 6 and above for the past week. 6-1 on the 13th. Put a link to the earthquake recap data, kind of slow. We had earthquakes recorded near Alaska volcano dormant for 800 years. Be advised, my people to the north. Super volcano, now they put together, see how a Tonga volcano unleashed a once-in-a-century shockwave. This was just a cool thing I came across. It showed when the underwater volcano went off, how it sent a shockwave across the world. I'll put a link to that. Pretty cool stuff. Severe outbreak leaves 1 dead. Major cities damaged. Severe weather. It's springtime in America. Put a link to that. Tornado that hit 23 in Texas. That injured 23 in Texas was EF3, 165-mile-an-hour winds. National Weather Service says peak horror. Traffic chaos is climate. Protesters block Sydney Harbor. We're mad about the environment. Speaking of the environment, be advised, climate crusader Lizzo poses while boarding another private jet. Snooki wants smoosh smoosh. Put a link to that. And Moon and Mars missions with Russia are canceled. Over to strange and bizarre news. Be advised, adult content coming up. 4 men arrested for raping a lizard in Western India. I put a, man, look at this. We got bloke gets 2 kilogram dumbbell stuck up his bum. Medics have to, I don't understand what's going on with this world. A Florida man was arrested for lewd behavior. Apparently he was doing his thing on, in flight. Put a link to that. We got a second Snooki reported this week. This Snooki here was doing her thing in front of a table where kids, just unbelievable. First grade teacher says identity share with kindergartners and second graders. We got another one of these. Trans-binary elementary teacher says 3-year-olds are old enough to learn about gender identity. I mean, the strangeness just makes me sick this week. Sticker sales, however, report soaring. I did that. Sticker decals on gas pumps everywhere, but be advised you could be arrested for doing that. I'll put a link to the story. And we got USPS suspended mail service in parts of California because the mailman keeps getting assaulted and attacked. For all the news, please check my favorite videos. We got some fresh stuff over there. We got the clashes in Shanghai. Check out the new AI going on to make everything look real. Woman chased down, robbed in southern for her watch. The gangs robbing people. Dimcad's got a good one over there about Russia nuclear deployment. All kinds of fresh news. Definitely check out my favorites. Thank you to everybody continuing to post content, keeping everyone informed. I do have one shout out this week, a story that made me feel good. Shout out to the failure of CNN Plus. Apparently CNN tried to launch some new thing, some streaming service or some shit where they were trying to charge people a monthly fee to get their news. Apparently it has crashed and burned. Chris Wallace is having meltdowns daily. There's a whole write-up here about how former Fox News anchor Chris Wallace reportedly been breaking down in front of news crews, in front of his crew. Miserable failures of new streaming platform CNN Plus. I never heard of it. I only heard of it because of the story. So shout out to the failure of CNN Plus. That's just awesome. That's all I got this week, guys. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I think, you know what? Didn't YouTube take away the thumbs downs? You know that had to do with the White House YouTube channel, right? Anyway, thumbs it up wherever you are. YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, I posted it everywhere. You can follow me on all my stuff below. You can support me if you want on Patreon, or you can follow me on Patreon for free. You can support me directly with DonorBox. I put a lot into these reports, and I need the help now more than ever. We got bills coming in. go back and watch my previous videos. The GoFundMe's still hot. Anyway, that's all I got for this week, guys. Please tell me your thoughts on what's coming next. More police state. It looks like the Omicron subvariant's taking over New York, maybe. Shanghai completely locked down. Millions and millions of people starving in their homes, locked in buildings, being dragged away to camps. World War III, we're talking more nuclear weapons. You know, hey, here we are in 2022. You guys take care, stay safe, have a good rest of the weekend, have a good week. I love you very much. I will see you on the next one.